In this video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We've created 6 identical and incredible strikers, placed them all around the world, and we're going to see over a career which one does better and who wins the most Ballon d'Ors. Now, without any further ado, let's have a look at our experiment. Okay, so here we are. We've got a striker for each continent, and I've placed them all as 15-year-olds at the winners, the most recent winners of the Champions League in each of those 5 continents. So we've got our European striker, who is based at Manchester City. He's English. And then we've got our North American striker at Leon in Mexico. They've all been given the same current ability of, I think, 150 or 160, I'm not quite sure exactly. And then the same potential ability of 200. So they're going to be, all 6 of them, incredible strikers. Nothing else has been set, apart from the height and weight. South American striker at Fluminense in Brazil. African striker at Al Ahly in Egypt. Again, all 15-year-old. All 6'5", 13.5 stone. Asian striker at Urawa Red Dragons in Japan. As you can see, there's some slight differences to the players based on where they've been created by the game. This guy, Oceanic striker, New Zealand, Auckland City. Everything I've input is the same for all of them, and they've all got vastly different transfer values as well, going from £35,000 for the New Zealand striker to £87 million for our English striker at Manchester City. Now, we've jumped forward to the end of the first season, and we can see that the European striker has played 18 times for Manchester City and got 8 goals. 5 caps already for England, 1 goal as well. He's now valued from 45 to 134 million. Our South American striker, still at Fluminense, 12 goals in 33 appearances. No full caps for Brazil just yet. In fact, all 6 of our players are with their first clubs. 15 in 35 for our Mexican striker with 3 goals in 4 caps at the full international level. He is doing well for himself as well. Our African striker, 18 goals in 20 in the Egyptian League. Obviously, the Egyptian League isn't in the game, but he's already got caps for Egypt as well. Japanese striker, 12 in 28. Obviously, the Japanese leagues are now in the game as well. He's only been capped at under 23 level, but he looks like he's coming along very nicely as well. And finally, our cheapest striker, still at Auckland City, obviously not a playable league in New Zealand, but 5 goals in 7 caps, 13 in 23 league appearances. Everyone seems to be doing okay, so we're going to jump forward to the end of the 25-26 season. So this is season number 3, and looking at our shortlist, you can see some movements have happened. Everyone, apart from the Manchester City striker, has moved. So we'll look at him first. He is on a £450,000 a week contract, and he's got 30 goals in 64 appearances for Premier League winning Manchester City. So he's well on his way to being the world-beating best striker ever. But he's got Haaland to contend with, so it's not quite as easy. Over with our North American striker, he has left Mexico for just under £7 million, which is a steal, to go to Liverpool in the Premier League and started out pretty well. 15 goals in 28 appearances in his first season there. 12 in 23 caps for Mexico. He's looking pretty good. They've won the Champions League as well, which is going to do his attempts at the Ballon d'Or no end of good. But joining him at Liverpool, Asian striker has joined from Japan for less than £5 million. That's a steal as well. They've got 2 great strikers for 12 million. 2 goals in 8 is not the most fantastic start. He's only joined in January at the end of the Japanese season. It was 8 goals in 10 caps for Japan. The Egyptian striker has moved to Barcelona, 6 in 12 with Egypt, 16 in 30 after his £7 million move to La Liga after getting a lot of goals for Al Ahly in the unplayable Egyptian league. So being in an unplayable league has not hampered him at all. He's gone to Barcelona and gone in style. Our South American striker has left Brazil and joined Chelsea in the January window of the 25-26 season. 5.5 million, 7 goals in 14, 1 goal every other game is not a bad return at all after his stint in Brazil. Again, everyone is developing nicely. They're all on big money now as well, and they've got their big money moves to Europe, including our New Zealand striker, Oceanic striker. He's on £69,000 a week at Bayer Leverkusen. He's left Auckland City for 89 grand. That is an incredible steal for Leverkusen. 9 goals in 19 in their first season there. He has been an absolute bargain. I mean, all of the other strikers have been bargains as well. But let's have a look at the awards as we go through. After 3 seasons, you'd think that at least one of them has appeared in the NXGN list. I doubt they're in the Ballon d'Or contention just yet, but we will have a look. They're not on the top of the goal 50, for any of the 2 seasons that have been awarded so far. Let's have a look at NXGN. Both times has been won, the last 2 seasons that is, by the North American striker. The European striker got 2nd place in season number 2, and the Oceanic striker, after going to Leverkusen, has pipped him to 2nd place in season number 3. The Copper Trophy, not been won by anyone just yet, and Ballon d'Or, obviously, has not gone to any of our strikers at this point in the save. Right, we're going to jump forward to the end of season number 5 now and see how their careers are developing. Okay, the 27-28 season is completed, and everyone has stayed in the same place apart from our Oceanic striker, who is now in the Premier League as well, having joined Everton. He's got 24 and 35 for New Zealand, and he joined Everton for 93 million after only costing Leverkusen £89,000. He's done well so far, okay at least in the Premier League. 17 goals after, 1.5 seasons there. A full season split in 2 halves at Leverkusen. He's done well though. He's won the Nations Cup with New Zealand. I'm not surprised. He's probably the best player on the continent by a long mile. But he's not the only player in England, obviously. Our European striker, born in England, 18 goals in 36 appearances for the national team. 44 and 100 at Man City. He's not displaced Haaland just yet by the look of things. If we have a look at Manchester City, Haaland is still their best player. So he's not overtaken Haaland in the pecking order at Manchester City. But he is still doing really well. He's concerned that his regular starter playing time is not being met, so we shall see how that goes in the future. Maybe he'll leave. He's not for sale, but maybe he'll leave. Speaking of England, though, we're staying with the Asian striker who is at Liverpool after joining from Urawa Red Dragons. He's not really fought his way into the team. That is because his North American counterpart is ahead of him in the pecking order at Anfield. He's had 3 seasons there and not really played that many games. If we're going to have a look at his teammate at Liverpool, he has played 81 games so far for Liverpool, and he is a star player, but he's concerned about his playing time as well, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. Lots of slightly unhappy players, but he's doing basically a goal every other game so far in the Premier League at Liverpool, leading the way 30-41 for Mexico. He's looking like he might be our potential best player so far, and the African striker is going to give him a run for his money. He is still at Barcelona, 52 in 87 appearances, banging in the goals. He looks like he's a regular starter there, only cost them 8 million, and he is doing well, is the Egyptian. Who else haven't we looked at? It's a South American striker at Chelsea, the Brazilian. He's only got 4 goals in 9 appearances for Brazil, but he's doing well at Chelsea, 42 in 80. Again, a goal every other game. He's starting for them as well by the look of things in their lineup. He looks like he might be. We have a quick look. Is he their best player? Yes, he is their key player according to the squad. The club information screen's got the number 9 as well at Chelsea. Right. Let's take a look at some awards. We have a look at the NXGN. Obviously, for those 3 seasons, they were eligible. They were won all the time. So the North American striker got 2 of them. The African striker, once he'd gone to Barcelona, got the 3rd. The other players involved, the European striker was in there a couple of times as well. Looking at the Copper Trophy, the North American striker got it once. African striker came 3rd place in the following season. He took the title with a North American striker in 2nd. And the European striker coming in 3rd after finally making a few more appearances for Manchester City. Has anyone broken onto the Ballon d'Or list yet? Not yet. Bukayo Saka has won the last 3 of those. Anyone on the FIFA Best 11? North American strikers made it onto the bench of the Best 11. So that is kind of showing you that the very best of our young super strikers is just about breaking into the best in the world. He's in the best 18 players in the world. So we'll see how we get on when we jump forward another 5 seasons. And here we are, the 2032-33 season is done. Everyone is still at their respective clubs, filling out the Premier League as well, including the European striker, who is currently unhappy at Manchester City. He's not managed to displace Erling Haaland, but he's still getting plenty of goals. 108 in 233 appearances, 51 in 87 for England. He's probably going to break some Harry Kane records at some point in the not too distant future, but he looks like he's finally getting game time. 20 and 34 in the last season that's just finished. He is now the key player at Manchester City. If we have a look at the formation they are now playing under Inzaghi, they might have 2 strikers if Haaland is still there. If Haaland isn't still, Haaland is still there. Okay, so he's playing alongside Haaland in a 5-3-2. There we go. It's a 4-4-2, but that is not what these clubs play these days. Right, we'll go to Everton, and our still lowest valued player is the Oceanic striker. Obviously, New Zealand is obviously started off with lower reputation just through the basis of being from New Zealand. He's their key player. Everton finished the Premier League in 8th. They're gonna. That's alphabetical order. They didn't finish in 8th. They're predicted 5th, according to the media rankings. But look, he's scoring plenty. He's just about getting into double digits every season. Not groundbreaking performances. He is an elite striker still. But he's found himself at Everton after a couple of moves and doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere else. So that's probably going to hinder him in the Ballon d'Or race. Speaking of Ballon d'Or race, I would imagine the African striker has won a Ballon d'Or by now. He is doing bits at Barcelona. 20 plus goals a season for the last 3 years. 25 and 31 in the last season there. The Asian striker at Liverpool, has he managed to displace his long-lost North American brother? Probably not. Looking at the amount of... he's got 31 appearances in the last season, 9 goals. He's probably coming off the bench more often than not. He is now the key player, though, at Anfield. So maybe he is developed to the point where he is displacing his North American striker brethren. Probably not. But we shall see. So he looks like there's competition. They should basically be playing 2 up top. That's what Liverpool should be playing. If they've got both of these players, they should have 2 strikers in their formation. That is their own downfall. We'll have a look at the North American striker. He is still beating out the stats here. The career stats. 140 and 227. Still getting 20 goals a season. Apart from last season, only got 12. So maybe that is where there's a tipping point, a crossover. We should do the comparison of attributes. It's much of a muchness, really. Obviously, at this level, you'd expect them all to be about the same. We look through the European striker. Looks like he's still better in the air. African striker, he's doing well. He's slightly more defensive. If we look at the Oceanic striker, yeah, as expected, he's not quite developed as well as all of the other players. Because of that starting point in New Zealand, it's going to have hampered him. The South American striker still at Chelsea, 138 in 228 appearances, doing plenty of goals every season for Chelsea. He will be their number 1 striker, their number 9 or their number 10, depending on the formation they are playing. Probably the number 9, let's be honest. Right, if we have a look at some comparisons, South American striker's looking like he's got probably a potentially lower polygon than most, so maybe he is our 5th best player. We'll have a look at the Ballon d'Or and see if that comes out in the results. The African striker has won the first Ballon d'Or for our super strikers by the look of things. He has taken it in the 2031-32 season. Moving to Barcelona has definitely paid dividends for him, although the South American striker finished 2nd. So my previous assessment of his polygon was probably not quite as accurate. He did get 3rd in the FIFA Best Men's Player, but the European striker won that the season before. So we will see when we get to the end of their careers who has won the Ballon d'Or the most times. Currently, it's the African striker with 1, which is... it's 1 more than everyone else. Right, next season, well, we've jumped to the end now. It's 2045-46. And if we have a look, this is where we left off. So the African striker won Ballon d'Or twice in a row. And then it looks like he is the only one to have won it at all. He's got 3. But Lamine Yamal, Philippe Avdic, who is a new gen, Lorik Mukendi, I don't know if he's a new gen. Yeah, he's a new gen as well at Everton. In fact, well, it looks like the new gens have come in and knocked out our super strikers quite quickly. So the African striker is the only player, despite starting in an unplayable league, because he got that move to Barcelona and then started just performing awesome, pretty much. 7+. I think the lowest season there we can see is the last one, 7.06. Other than that, a couple of 7.1s. And that's it. Everything else in the 7.4, 7.5. He won lots of things. He's won several Champions Leagues in Africa too. Whilst he was at Al Ahly, he's now a coach. But look, he is the only one to win the Ballon d'Or out of our super strikers. So that is kind of not what I was expecting, honestly. I was expecting the European-based striker to win it because he was already based in Europe, but having Haaland in that Manchester City side has obviously been detrimental to his long-term performance, and the African striker is the only one who stayed on in the game after retirement. Our European striker eventually went for a season in Saudi Arabia and scored 13 of 34, which is not too bad. He was runner-up in the NXGN, runner-up in 3rd place in the Copper Trophy, won a few trophies, won the Champions League 4 times by the look of things, won the Euros 3 times for England, FA Cup a few times, Carabao Cup. But yeah, nothing major won there for the European striker. The Asian striker obviously spent most of his career at Liverpool, won the Champions League 3 times, the Europa League once, the Premier League a couple of times as well. So he's won plenty of trophies, but he didn't quite get high enough to win the Ballon d'Or. He was shortlisted for FIFA Best Men's Player once by the look of things. so he didn't win it there. The South American striker did well as well. Loads of goals and appearances for Chelsea. He came close. Was third place on the Copa Trophy a couple of times. Didn't win the Ballon d'Or though. Twice runner-up in the Ballon d'Or to the African striker. Won lots of things at Chelsea. Won the Copa America loads of times for Brazil. Champions League 6 times at Chelsea. So Chelsea had a pretty incredible side led by our South American striker. North American striker, another one at Liverpool. I think Liverpool made the mistake of buying 2 strikers for nothing and then playing only one of them. They would have won a lot more if they'd played 2 up top. Only 1 Premier League title and obviously the 3 Champions Leagues that we've already seen. He did well after leaving Mexico, but not well enough to win the Ballon d'Or. He was NXGN twice, so he peaked quite early, but he didn't quite get there in the end. The Oceanic striker from New Zealand did very well internationally. Did quite well at Everton as well, to be fair, but he got that move from Leverkusen to Everton and then kind of stuck there and only won the Europa League. So basically he didn't go to a big enough club. But the African striker is the one who's won our challenge. He's won the Ballon d'Or 3 times. He's the only one of our players to have won the Ballon d'Or. So despite starting in an unplayable league in Egypt, he got that move for £8 million to Barcelona in Spain and did the business. And he's the only one who stayed on as a coach as well after the game, after everyone's retired from the game. So there we have it. I'm not quite sure what conclusive results we've got, but if you want your world best striker, you might want to stick him in Egypt for a couple of seasons and get that move to Barcelona. And that's done. Our challenge of 6 super strikers. We'll see you on the next video. If you've enjoyed it, let us know in the comments. We'll do some more things like this. Please subscribe to the Sort It Out SI channel, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.